Verse 24, now they had been sent from the Pharisees, right? So here is, this is as well again an interjection that's in brackets, so seemingly not in the originals. The Pharisees, we know it's not the Pharisees ultimately only who, but they were, some of them were Pharisees. So maybe, I might in a certain sense think that maybe this kind of, it's not that it feels a little bit contradictory, it's not wrong, right? They did send him as well, but others were involved in the sending. So it's not just, they were just one group of who sent him. Okay, so it's not a contradiction, it's not wrong. Okay, I just don't feel concerning because of the Jew first, where I spoke about the Jews sent them. And now they're saying the Pharisees. So, and lots of Pharisees came to faith. So it's as if this kind of, maybe someone who didn't like the Pharisees a lot, who kind of interjected this verse to now connect the Pharisees to the Jews and those who reject. Although there were a number of Pharisees who did accept Christ. So kind of in that way it feels as if this verse kind of doesn't really fit what John is trying to do, because he was not singling out a specific group, he was singling out the enemy of, okay, not the Jew as a nation, but those inside the nation rejecting, okay, which he called the Jew. And then in this case, the Pharisees send them, then connecting that sort of then puts more blame on them, which, again, I just don't, I kind of, in this sense, I would think that this verse is really kind of going against what he's trying to say. And this in brackets, so it's not an original. So it might be a later interjection there. Again, it's not, they did, but John is trying to take blame from, and not put it on one group per se, like this verse is doing. Verse 25. They asked him, then why are you baptizing if you are neither the Christ nor Elijah nor the prophet? So yes, now clearly now the next question, you're neither that, so why the heck are you baptizing? Because you're kind of in a way preparing, you're kind of doing something that you're not, who gave you the right? Like they're going to ask you Jesus as well, who the heck gave you the right to do this? Right, so that's now the next question. So why are you doing this? Who gave you the right? Who gave you the stamp of approval for doing this? Verse 26, John answered them, I baptize with water, but among you stands one you do not know. Even he who comes after me, the strap of whose sandals I'm not worthy to untie. So, okay, now, I just baptize with water. Instead of answering this question, he answers this again like Jesus would like to answer questions, by kind of a counter-argument or counter-question. You're worried about me baptizing with water, right? Now, I would be worried about something else. I wouldn't be worrying about me baptizing with water, my authority. I would kind of worry about the one who comes after me, whose sandals I can't even untie, right? That is what he's trying to get at here. And it's just kind of a, what is it, this way of the blood or something that those Baptist pastors there in America in the 20s, 1920s came up with, and to connect the Baptist church as the one only true church of God, kind of, that comes all the way from John the Baptist. And it's kind of a little bit funny. I guess they didn't understand what this verse meant when they came up with this nonsense. If you look at that list of names, there are heretics in there and people who didn't even believe in Jesus in that list, just because they baptized not babies, they baptized others, or they were just against people in general, right? So it's a weird list anyhow. But even outside of that, what John is saying here is, don't base your faith on me. Like in that list, they take the baptism all the way from John the Baptist, and therefore they're the ones who. John the Baptist was an Old Testament prophet. He was not a New Testament prophet. Get that as well into your mind. The New Testament was only inaugurated there at the Last Supper. So in this stage, we're still in the Old Testament. We're not in the New Testament yet. Okay, so if you study the Gospel of John and the other Gospels, remember that only later on. So this is all still Old Testament. The last prophet in the Old Testament is not Malachi or somebody else. It's John the Baptist, plain and simple. So what he is, when they ask him, so who give you the right? They're like, he is saying, my baptism is nothing. You must not worry about that. So these guys want to, like, because we follow John all the way from John the Baptist, or like we're from Peter, like Roman Catholics or whatever, like that. What John is saying here is that's not what it's about. My baptism, anyhow, it's an Old Testament baptism. So it shows again that wrong understanding that people have got the covenant and the New Testament where it starts. But worry about the one coming after me. Because my baptism isn't anything. Right? I am nothing. I'm just a witness. But the one coming after me, whose sandals, and I don't have any on, I'm not even worthy to untie. Right? That's what you're supposed to be worrying about. You're worrying about it. You're asking the wrong question here, my friends. You're asking the wrong question. My baptism, me? Nah, he. Worry about him. Worry about him. Okay? Again, that is what he is trying to get. Because they were so stuck up on John that they forget that the main thing is. And so as well, to those people, those pastors coming in, I know, unluckily, in the Philippines today, at this moment, they teach this nonsense, this heresy in Baptist seminaries in the Philippines. I've spoken with people there. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. I think it's not being taught in the Baptist church in America anymore, but it's being taught as gospel truths there in Baptist universities in the Philippines. It's wrong. It's wrong. Right? They're taking the focus off Jesus and putting it on John the Baptist just so because they're Baptist, and therefore it's okay. I'm not Baptist bashing here. I'm Baptist bashing those specific group of people doing this, and they need to stop doing that in the Philippines and teaching the Christians over there that kind of nonsense. Because the focus is not on John's baptism. The focus is on him, that I'm not even worthy to untie his shoes off. That is the problem. So if any of you teaching there in the Philippines in the Baptist seminary, Filipinos or Americans, or whoever you might be teaching this nonsense, stop doing it. Because you're leading people to their graves, to their deaths, to hell. Right, that is verse 27. That is one you need to. I'm not even worthy of that. Verse 28. These things took place in Bethany, across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. So this is just to put it into context where this all was happening. They traveled far to go and find out this information. They didn't just go next door to ask this. It shows how important this was to them. Okay, so if it was so important for them to send people to go and find out the truth, about John, how much more important it is for them to find out the truth about Jesus, the one whose laces or his sandals is not worthy to untie. How much more important is it? That ought to be your question as well. Who is your focus? Who is your focus ultimately in all of this? Yourself, the God you are, as you believe, so many Christians believe, right? Or the baptism of John, your baptism, that's what you build your faith upon? Or is your focus on Jesus? Okay, are you willing to go to such great lengths? If they were willing to go to such great lengths to find out about John, how much more? And this is as well the point that John is trying to make. You went to such great lengths to find out about John. Here I'm telling you about Jesus, the one that's higher than him. Think, people, think, please. What am I trying to get at? What am I trying to tell you here? Why are you not doing more to find out about him? Why are you not willing to go to deeper, greater lengths to find out about one that is higher than John? Why? So repent, come back to him, Jews, come back. That's why this book is totally Jew-friendly. Not only Jew-friendly, it's pleading with the leadership the whole time. Repent, repent, repent.